In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you with a grateful heart, thanking you for saving us over anyone else in the world. We're careful. We thank you for being careful with us, for being a man of word, and for granting us the blessings that you have. Now we will strive the best to be bound by your faith. Although we come short at times, we have to acknowledge you, Lord, because without you, nothing would have been possible. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray, amen. My brothers and sisters, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Um, so we're going to read chapter 22. God bless you, Adam. How's it going? First, like Willie Snyder, how's it going? God bless you both. How was the quiz? Um, okay, so if you didn't know what I was doing, I was at church at 7, and I think we got out at like 8:30 something. So it's Holy Thursday, of course. In our church, at least, when we sing glory, glory to God in the highest, there's bells ringing everywhere. Um, we did not recite the Nicene Creed as we usually do, and there was no blessing because we are observing the period where Jesus Christ was crucified in his passion. So, King James got really frustrated. It was so much fun. Wow. Oh, so much Finn. Oh, sorry, not fun, but Finn. Okay, I hope you have uh, I hope you keep having so much Finn the rest of the way. But man, this period of these 3 days are very, very insanely amazing. We celebrate Jesus' crucifixion and his resurrection, by whom we're saved. Next week is the pirates. R, R-D-R-D Theta, as my calculus teacher would say. Oh, by the way, Adam, I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is Cowboy Gypsy is going to be long gone. It'll be forgotten, but the good news, well, there's actually two good newses. I still have my main channel, which I can always use, and also I PayPal gave me my refund. God bless you, Cameron. How's it going? So if you didn't know this, I requested a check from PayPal. Then they didn't send me anything. February 21st was when I requested it. Long tonight. Maybe. I can't guarantee anything. God bless you, Christian. How's it going? Um, Cam, I think I might stream for a longer time. Just because there's no school tomorrow. Because it's Holy Friday, or sorry, Uh, oh my goodness, I think I screwed that up. Hold on, let me just. Good Friday. So, pretty good chance of streaming. Uh, maybe until 2. Maybe I'll stream myself sleeping. God bless Blanco Nation. So, yeah. Anyways, Adam, I had to literally say to them, if I don't get my check soon, I might have to take legal action. And so they refunded my money on my PayPal account. So I was able to use that money from my PayPal account and pay for Video Bolt. And so right now I've got 1 month of Video Bolt available. And so I've been working around the clock to get some animations ready. One of them is a Siege animation. That's going to be a running gig in the Team SOS stuff. Siege, spelled Seeesh, like that. Sorry, Christian. Let's see. Yeah, I figured that Siege, the way you pronounce it, has a lot more ring and personality to it, and it'll be more of a trademark. Well, not a trademark as if copyrightish, but we're not going to copyright stuff because that's unfair. But it's like a little cult following is. That's what I like to call it, sort of. It does not make any sense. Sorry. Things are going great. I had a good day today. I have to return to the office tomorrow, but I'll stay as long as I can tonight. All right. Sounds good, my friend. Yeah. Paul, God bless you. How's it going? Nice sword. Nice sword right there. You see that? He used some ASCII art to build a sword. That's the next Claymore. What's the refund for? Like I said, I requested a paycheck, well, not a paycheck, a check from PayPal because uh, Adam, with his tips, he actually tipped in my channel a few times, and I was able to gather up that money and request a check from PayPal. But they never gave me the check, they never sent it, and it was stuck in processing for like 2 months, it seems like almost 2 months. And only until yesterday or today that I got the refund. But I've been since March trying to get back to them about that check. Why haven't you sent it? And then eventually they caved in and refunded my money. And so I was able to use that immediately on on there. Yeah. It's the guy that wrote most of the New Testament. Welcome in the chat. Exactly. Paul, St. Paul. It wasn't in the Discord. I'm super. Cameron, I think the links are the same for StreamYard. I don't know for sure, but I believe that you can access the same link to get into the room. If you don't believe, if you don't believe me, I don't blame you, but try it and see if you can get the if you can get into the room with any old link. God bless you, Mitch. How's it going? Okay. I'm super. That's awesome to hear. Wow, you had one job, says Willie. And wow, PayPal needs to step up their game. I know, Willie, my bad. Yeah. At least PayPal was willing to work with me, unlike YouTube with Cowboy Gypsy. God is bigger than than any problem that any of us can ever have. We just have to trust in Him. Amen. High five. Saul, also known as Paul. Amen, Paul. Hello, I'm back. Yep. Next week, Cameron. Hi, at Mitch. Uh, sorry. Saul killed the Christians for years. Oh, yeah. And we read the book of Samuel, I believe, and he was not a very good king. I'll just put it at that. And David became king and was among the most revered of the kings. He did have one sin, but apart from that, he was obedient to the Lord's commands. My message to PayPal, damn it, clowning! Exactly. YouTube, on the other hand, committed a bozo no-no. How's everyone? Doing great? I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you. Glad to absorb in that culture of streaming. All in all, a great night. A few hours I got out of church and we had that ceremony or demonstration, whatever you like to call it, which the the priest washes 12 men's feet, kind of like when Jesus was washing the feet of his disciples. Damn it, clowny to YouTube as well. Have you read the book of Esther? Not yet. That's coming up real soon. We have 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah? Is that how you pronounce it? I guess so. And then Esther. So, uh, we still got a few books to go through, but surely, but slowly, but we're gonna get there for sure. See if we can get it by the end of this month. It might not happen, but we'll see where we are. Everyone's here just about. The only one missing is Big Al. Oh, Big Al. It'll take a little bit of time for him to join up, but I think he likes to come in after the reading, after the word. So, yeah, let's just review how much of the Bible we're going to read. Oh, we're going to read the rest of the book of 1 Kings, or the first book of Kings, however you like to pronounce it. Um, yeah, very good. All right, so we're going to begin with chapter 22. What have you learned in the book of 2 Kings? That's the book that I'm going to read up next, and that'll be up tomorrow. But we're going to learn from this book of 1 Kings. Well, David was buried, he was greatly exalted by the Lord, and before you know it, we have wicked kings and Solomon. That's his name. Solomon, David's son, he actually goes and bounces to other gods and worships them, and the Lord gets upset at him that he takes away his kingdom, most of his kingdom, and delivers it to somebody else's hand. And who else? Jeroboam's there. Uh, Asa is another ruler, divine and exalted. And Rehoboam is also there. Hold on, let me just pretend this one.
Así siento como cuando aprecio tu imagen, hasta puedo sentir su frente, puedo sentir su cara, puedo sentir aquí cuando lo percibo.
Sí,
De verdad,
sí,
de verdad me lo imagino.
yo te creo.
Lo único que me da tristeza es que le vi sus manos así.
Oh,
Las tenía así.
oh. All right, well, that was just my mother giving me the blessing. We're almost done with one king, so I guess without further ado, let's begin chapter 22, 3 Years Peace. And it continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. Oh, sorry. Yes, Solomon also had a son whose name was Asa, and he done what was right in the sight of the Lord and drove out the Sodomites out of the land. Yes, that indeed happened. And he was at war with somebody else, and that somebody else was Basha or Basha, something like that. For yeah, he turned away from the Lord as well. Okay, and it continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. And it came to pass in the third year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said unto his servants, Know ye that Ramoth in Gilead is ours, and we be still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria. And we said unto Jehoshaphat, Wilt thou go with me to battle in Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today. And the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, Go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides that we might inquire of him? The king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man, Micaiah the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord. But I hate him, for he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. And the king of Israel called an officer and said, Hasten hither Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne. And, having put on their robes in a void place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before him. And Zedekiah, the son of Kenana, or Canaan, however you pronounce it, made him horns of iron and said, Thus saith the Lord, with these shalt thou push the Syrians until thou have consumed them. And the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the king's hand. I'll just put it right here. Oh, and a messenger that was gone to call Micaiah said unto him, saying, spake unto him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, and speak that which is good. And Micaiah said, As the Lord liveth, what the Lord saith unto me, that will I speak. So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? He answered him, Go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And the king said unto him, How many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord? And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills, as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil? And he said, Hear thou, therefore, the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. Then there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord, and I said, I shall persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lion spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lion spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee. But Zedekiah, the son of Kenana, went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek and said, Which way went the Spirit of the Lord for me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see in that day when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah and carry him back unto Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, this fellow, put this fellow in the prison and feed him with bread or of affliction, and with water of affliction until I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If thou return at all in peace, the Lord hath not spoken by me. And he said, Hearken, O people, every one of you. You're from Alabama? I'm from Texas. Christian and I are from Texas. I've been through Alabama a couple of times. Um, both times were, yeah, exactly. We're both 2 hours away, essentially. And although we haven't met in person, we're very much close to each other, relatively close. So yeah, Texas, y'all are neighbors. Yeah, I live in a place called Port Lavaca. It's a small city, but it's a city. Although I will say that it does need a bit of TLC. The downtown has old shops that are wearing and tearing, and I want to see if I could invest some money into that, into repairing them, and to, you know, either rebuilding or at least renovating in some form. The most we've done was back in 2020, NHS. I was one of those guys out there for NHS. We were painting uh, the entire Main Street, or not the entire, but a huge portion. We were painting it gray, and it's still in disrepair. But yeah, yeah. Christian is from the Houston area, Mission Bend to be specific. Um, so he's got the West Park Tollway at his disposal. Right. Real quick, I'm just going to read this section. Defeat and death of Ahab. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter into the battle, but put thou on thy robes. And the king of Israel disguised himself and went into the battle. But the king of Syria commanded his 30 and two captains that had rule over his chariots, saying, Fight neither with small nor great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat that they said, Surely it is the king of Israel. And they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the hair or harness. Wherefore he said unto the driver of his chariot, Turn thy hand and carry me out of the house, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day, and the king was stayed up in his chariot against the Syrians, and died at even. And the blood ran out of the wound into the midst of the chariot. And there went a proclamation throughout the host about the going down of the sun, saying, Every man to his city, and every man to his own country. So the king died and was brought to Samaria, and they buried the king in Samaria. And one washed the chariot in the pool of Samaria, and the dogs licked up his blood, and they washed his armor, according unto the word of the Lord which he spake. Now the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he did, and the ivory house which he made, and all the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? A section of Ahaziah or Ahijah over Israel. I have no idea how to pronounce this, so I'll read it in just a moment. A major scene in my novel takes place on Main Street, Port Lavaca. Yeah, Main Street, over on the intersection, the middle intersection of Main Street with Virginia Street. There used to be on one of the corners a Bluebonnet um, on the other side, which is opposite to Marshall's Marine Shop or something. I think it's called Marshall's Marine Shop. Um, and it's closed down for a while. It's been closed down. But on the other side, there used to be a Blue Bonnet, which I enjoy myself a lot of Blue Bonnets. So yeah, I bought two Blue Bonnets. One of them is drying up though. Yeah, Christian has a novel. It's based off his past experiences and features a bunch of characteristics you'll see throughout the novel. It's called The Road to Us. I'm not selling it, but I'm sharing it with anyone who wants to read it. Okay, interesting. Not exactly on a street, but in one of the restaurants. You'll see when you get to that chapter. Yeah, the most popular restaurants over there are Green Iguana Grill and Texas Traditions. And there's also Magic Asian Cuisine, which is uh, technically on Commerce, I think. Well, I don't know if they mark the address as Commerce or Main Street, but that's at the very end of Main Street, right before you go to the Bayfront. All right, I gotta go to the bathroom. I apologize for running a bathroom break in the middle of study, but I have to get on. Back. By the way, two notable requests that played today on Thursday. Tomorrow's Good Friday, so Trey's not going to be available to take any requests on type. There's not going to be any form of request tomorrow, so he had to have Brother Gary on uh, for today, and then Friday he's off. So two of the requests, notable requests, are the Jets' Crush on You, and also apart from that, we have Spice Girls Wannabe. Can you believe that? On a classic hit station that's playing usually songs from the 70s, 60s, and 80s. Okay, cool. I might have to go in a bit, so I'll be here next time. So I hope everybody has a blessed day. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Sleep deep, rise and shine bright, and go in peace, and seek the love of the Lord. All right, so Titan must be on autopilot. Yes, that's basically what's going to happen. They're going to, you know, how you have cruise control on your car, on your truck, whatever. That's basically what Kite's doing tomorrow. Addie is slave. God bless you, Addie. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for coming in. I think I do remember you. Now looking at your channel, yes. But I can't remember which stream you were here, but now that I see your channel, it looks pretty familiar. Sorry, let me catch up on some of the comments. It follows me and my love interest from high school and my awkward interactions with her from back then. That part is based on a true story. The rest of the story is fictional, as the rest is about us reuniting and taking on all these adventures together. Every person in the story is a real person that I knew back then. Someone said if YD D5GK, tell them I said DY or whatever that was, YD5GK to them too. That may the Lord bless them. Uh-huh. All right. Someone said, if you don't go, why? Sounds about right. Um, I'm confused by your comments. Uh, yeah, I totally understand your comments. I understand it from night to day. Yeah. Because here's a little cup of tea. So Spice Girls Wannabe played on Kite. And I actually woke up in time to catch Brother Gary on Kite and the Spice Girls. If you want to be my lover. It's played one time on Kite before from a request. And I didn't even know that they could play that. That and All I Want to Do are some of the most recent or most recently recorded songs. And I think the most recent of all is another request only song. That's Kylie Minogue, Can't Get You Out of My Head. I remember that song playing on Spot once. Yeah, difference is the Spot is more uh, classic hits plus variety, kind of like Jack FM. Um, but on Kite, it's just classic hits, which is usually 60s, 70s, and 80s, and very small amounts of 90s. Well, not very small, but nothing big there either. So, yeah. So, um, the biggest shocker though was Kylie Minogue Can't Get You Out of My Head, which is my mom's ringtone, because that's from 2001, I think. Might as well play Bon Jovi "It's My Life" on Kytus while you're at it. Of course, I never requested that song, but I'm feeling tempted to request it. Okay, I'm going to finish up the rest of this chapter. Please. Ahaziah? And there's even two different pronunciations, I think. Ahaziah and Ahaziah. So Ahab slept with his fathers, and Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his stead. Accession of Jehoshaphat over Judah. And Jehoshaphat, the son of Asa, began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 30 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 5 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi, and he walked in all the ways of his Asa his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which was right in the eyes of the Lord. Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away, for the people offered and burnt incense yet in the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat and his might that he showed and how he warred, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And the remnant of the Sodomites, which remained in the days of his father Asa, he took out of his land. There was then no kingdom in or king in Edom. The deputy was king. Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish, Tarshish to go to offer for gold, but they went not. For the ships were broken at Ezion Geber. Jehoshaphat made ships. Oh, sorry. Then said Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, unto Jehoshaphat, let my servants go with thy servants in the ships. But Jehoshaphat would not. Death of Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat slept with his brothers and, fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Jehoram, his son, reigned in his stead. Character of Ahaziah. Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 2 years over Israel. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. For he served Baal and worshipped him, and provoked to anger the Lord God of Israel, according to all that his father have done. The word of the Lord, praise you, God. Ah, yes, yes, folks. That is the conclusion of 1 Kings, and that is it for the Holy Bible, at least for today. See if this works. Oh well, it's not perfect, but It'll get the job done. I For our readings, could I make a suggestion if it's all right? Yeah, yes, you may. Number one, don't stutter. Number two, be more fluid. Number three, learn how to pronounce all these random names. Number four, I don't know. There's a lot of things I could do, but I honestly just cannot stop stumbling for all that it's worth. Let me take a walk. All right, what do you got? At the end of each reading, I was thinking we should have a summary of what we just covered to help everyone understand better. What do you think? Yeah, that's a fair suggestion. Where are you from? God bless you, Wade. First of all, I hope you're having an amazing day today. And second of all, I live in the United States. Now, you may not see it right here on OBS, but my OBS is on safe mode because apparently it didn't. Oh, I know why. Because I accidentally opened it one time and it didn't even open. And then I opened it and it remembered that I've been listening to sermons on the book of John, Gospel of John. I haven't gotten to the New Testament, and I gotta say it's much shorter than I thought it would have been. For some reason, I thought that the Old Testament and the New Testament would be of relatively equal length, but that's not the case. But yeah, that's a good suggestion, Christian. But I'll be honest, I might forget to do that. Um, and also with the fact that sometimes my parents just pressure me to get done just because they want to go to the gym. They never, or my mom at least, she wants to go to the gym at random times. So I'll try to I'll try to work out something. But in terms of your suggestion, I'll try to remember. But I might forget. Just saying that right now. understand. Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, you might not realize it, but I also have meat here with me. Say hello to the chat. Say hello to Christian meat. And meat, what's your thoughts on God and on Jesus and the Holy Spirit? You think so? Jeez. Can you tone it down a little bit? Yeah. Always look for the Lord. He's always there for you. Even though I might not be there, He will be there more than I will. Yeah, good call. So, yeah, that's me, our little mascot right there. It costs like $225 to buy. Can you believe that? And I think it's because there aren't many of those around. So I guess part of it's understandable and part of it's like, oh, what an absolute reach. But I've got it, and yeah. So from what I can gather on this book, we have multiple kings that do some not even that book of one kings is overtly specific. In fact, it makes a lot of references to the books of Chronicles. But the idea is that there are a bunch of kings who disobey the Lord, and some diamonds in the rough that do stand out and do what's right in the Lord's sight. So, yeah, very, very important to understand. All right. Something here. Okay, I'm gonna read this right here in my editor. Kings are no different than the people of today. Sadly, the majority of the people disobey the Lord. One of my clients is a man who died for a bit, met Jesus, and came back. True story. He wrote a book about it, and God told him 75% of the world is not going to heaven. Yeah, that's sad. That's real, real sad. Now, my question is by 75% of the world, um, does that mean like, oh, who am I kidding? Some of us, many of us are not going to heaven, given that that's true. Yeah, that's how do I explain it? It's a sad but true fact. But I really don't know what to say about it. Oh my goodness. Take that away. We're doomed. That's nobody's perfect. I know I'm not. I know I've disappointed God many times before. That's right. And to be honest, I think we're only going to disappoint him even more, like even more times later on. This is a lot. Let's see what else. Conversely, I've seen endless moments in my life where God stepped in when things were spiraling out of control. Yeah, that's a silver lining. God does look after you and he basically controls what you can't. So yeah, that is indeed correct. Now the question is, for those that don't go to heaven, what when when we're judged, we go to hell? Um, what does hell look like? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that we people are going to ask ourselves, and nobody's going to know. Hell is often portrayed differently, but we always view it as this horrid, fiery place where people burn for eternity. That's right. What else? What else? Yeah, hell, we know the expression burn in hell, which is often said around in the world. So, so for those that go to hell, what, they just stay in hell and burn forever? Or is there something else that happens after that? I don't know. Just a thought. Like I said, I certainly do believe God is the reason why I got to escape some of the more depressing moments of my life. Yep. You also the reason that I find solace in some of these depressing moments as well. I've always wondered about that too. Does anything else happen in hell? I don't know, but I never really thought about that beyond going to the fiery pits. Yeah, that's a very enigma type question. So what? We just burn in hell forever? Or are we going to extinguish at some point and just never come back? Or are we going to reincarnate and have another chance to correct ourselves? I really, that's something that's so deep, and that's something that very much incomprehensible for us humans, at least. And that's something that maybe Adam from Team SOS can answer, or maybe not answer that, because really I don't think anybody could answer that, but he could provide a little bit of insight as to what might happen. Got this thing here. How do we get this info here? From what I've always heard, the people in hell burn forever. Man, we really fist spin up and then we're ash, and then the ashes burn. And even when we're nothing, the ashes are all gone. The ashes themselves burn. Reincarnation? Isn't that for those who are given a second chance because they couldn't make it to heaven on their first life? Well, first of all, God bless you, MG. Um, I don't know for certain these conditions that have to be fulfilled in order to have a second chance or whatever, but it could be possible. Like I said, I really don't know. I don't think anybody else knows either. Therefore, I think that's a question we're definitely not going to know until we die, pretty much. So I'm going to come back in 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So let's see what Christian says. It's something only God Himself has the true answer to. Now, my question is, if everyone knew about it, would we be able to correct ourselves before uh, could we use that knowledge to assure ourselves that we're safe, safe from all damnation, or will people just take that for granted and just be upon their business and stuff? I'm not sure, to be honest. It would be cheating if we retain our memories of our first life, but some people claim that they know of another life. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no clue as to what might happen, so I can't tell you anything. In fact, I don't claim to. If I say something and claim it, then I do apologize for that because I don't want to claim anything I know. I just want to provide an insight as to, like, an explanation of sorts, some sort of theory that we can apply, something, something. And yeah, uh, that's all that I have to say about that. So I figured that y'all be bored a little bit, so I'm just gonna take you into what I'm doing right now. Oh, that after the afterlife in general raises many questions, but I have always been a firm believer in what the Bible says. There's heaven and hell, and there's lots of theories that have been circulating. Like, for example, um, if we go to hell, do we just stay there forever, or is it kind of like a jail instead of a prison? And are we able to make up our sentence there and just so many things, man? I wish I knew all the answers, but that wouldn't be the wisest. And yeah, just I'm just making up stuff. Hell is often portrayed as a fiery prison run by demons. And another question is, what would the demons do to you? Will they try to tempt you like they did in life? Or are they just going to burn you with a flamethrower or torch or whatever the heck it is? Just going to come back to this. I want to come back here. Where is it? Oh, for example, I read, and then there's this purgatory where you can pay your sins through suffering, but I'm not educated enough to talk on that. It's okay. I'm not educated enough to know all the answers to everything, not even some of the things on the Bible. I would consider myself proficient. I read some life after death stories, and some of them say the demons attack their prisoners with the very sins they committed themselves. For example, if someone was a rapist, then that person would be forced to fornicate with a demon. This was based on one story I read a very long time ago. Another one sadly had a very small kid who died young. He was in hell being attacked by different cartoon characters like Pokemon and similar. Wow. Pokemon. That's new. Huh. Who knows that your childhood characters would come back to haunt you? Oh, God told this person who he was showing hell to that cartoon characters were demons out to get children. Wow, I didn't think about that. And then this person also claimed to see Michael Jackson down there being whipped by demons. The demons were doing the moonwalk dance, which is considered to be demonic. I've heard on a video that my dad was watching in Spanish that apparently Michael Jackson sold his soul to the devil, and oh yeah, and there you go. Michael Jackson wasn't the only celebrity there. Selena was also there too. You mean Selena Quintanilla, who had her birthday, what would have been her, no, not Selena Gomez, her inspiration, Selena. April 16th, that was 2 days ago. That person, Michael Jackson wasn't the only celebrity there. Selena was also there too. Their celebrities sold their souls for fame and fortune. Yeah, it's tough. Selena and MJ both said that anyone who listens to their music is going to hell. Well, if that's the case, then uh, I don't know if I can save myself now because I've listened to Billie Jean plenty of times before. I've listened to Black or White. I listened to Beat It, all those songs. So I don't know, man. Um, if there's a chance to be safe, then I'll gladly take it. But that's a big oopsie in that case. More than an oopsie, it's off Vitasin in that case. This is all based off of the story I read many years ago about someone's near-death experience. God shield this person, heaven and hell. I've heard those MJ songs myself, unaware. It changed my perspective. We all make mistakes all the time. We aren't perfect. Man, now that man, now if I have to listen to a new MJ song that knowing this, I might feel even more guilty than I ever could. Some of these stories often involve someone meeting up with some of their loved ones who passed on years ago. Apparently, people go back to their 20s when to go back to heaven. Yeah. So if I were to listen to MJ now, uh, that means I can't. I don't know. So I don't know how to ask this. That means I can't listen to those songs anymore without going to hell. Like, trying to be genuine. I'm not asking this to be funny or anything. I'm just wondering genuinely. If so, then that's pretty. I don't know how to explain it. It's pretty. Okay. There was another one I read where God showed someone several babies who were there. These were aborted babies. God told this person since their parents didn't want to care for them, he was going to care for them instead. Oh yeah, that's a quote or a verse on in Bible too. For if your father and your mother forsake you, then I will be with you. I think I posted that here at some point in one of my streams. I don't know when, but I know for sure that was a verse that I mentioned here. So yeah, that's nice. Uh, Celebrities in general have sold their souls and are committed to fame and fortune. They rejected God, and all they care about is worldly things. Yeah, here's the thing. Many of these pop songs that come from people, you know, who are celebrities and sold their souls, some of them I still love to hear. Like, I still want to hear some of these songs, but knowing that I'm kind of scared. If anyone forsakes, betrays us, does wrong in any way, God is always there for us. He won't do any of those things that the horrid people did. He protects us from the sins of others. Okay, that's a good thing to know. Just make a new transition. Oh, I muted it. This is what it's supposed to sound like. Of course, it's screwed up because of some memory issues, but that's all right. To me, politicians, pop stars, rock stars, and movie stars are the worst of these groups. Yeah. Um, Politicians are, let's just say, for example, one of somehow it's hard to compose words and those things without uh, saying stuff that's controversial. that people might find controversial or whatever. But just be wise. That's all I'm going to say. What editing program? This is Shotcut. It's more of a bare bones type of software, but it gets the job done and it's very versatile. I'm going to be honest with you, Christian. I know that you said that those songs are are sinful and stuff, or at least they come from people who sold their soul. But there's songs that many of those songs that I still want to listen. So I don't know. I just thought I'd be honest about that. Like, I obviously want to make it up to the Lord because I've done wrong, but there's still some stuff that like these songs that I still want to listen to. Oh, by the way, and authority figures can be downright barbaric. Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini as examples. Um, by the way, who's that person from Japan? Hideki Tojo? The one who led their country through World War II. I think it's Hideki Tojo. I like the editing of uh, the light effects that you used. I'll get to that in just a moment. Before that, I have to read this. Remember, these stories came from someone who posted them on the internet. I have no way of validating what they said, but I did believe a lot of what they said. Yeah, it's not very common that you see people coming and telling stories about these interactions and stuff and these facts that have been passed around. Yes, take them lightly, but do beware that some of these things might be true. Emperor Hirohito was his name. Okay, so it was an emperor. And then I think Hideki Tojo was the prime minister or something. I think that was what it was. Sorry, Christian. I keep blacking out. But Video Bolt is the name of the website that I use for these different lighting effects that as you so call them. There's a bunch of templates on Video Bolt for graphics, for intros, and for animations and stuff. They're not perfect, definitely, but they're good enough for what I do and for what I make, not only for myself, but also for Adam, for Team SOS. and a bunch of other channels as well. For a simplistic editing program, it can sure achieve quite a bit. Yeah, like I said, it's more of a bare bones type of editing software, but it is useful if you know how to use it. You just have to know some of these ad libs, and once you get the hang of it, it's very useful. Let's go back here. Come on. Now, next, I'm going to put this here and remove that one and put it all the way here. And we're going to come back and use this and copy these filters. And yeah, I think we're good. Back in school, we learned how to use Adobe After Effects and Adobe Premiere. Yeah, I've tried it a little bit and it's kind of complicated for me to understand. So I try to go the simple route and just use this one, which does the job. And I know it's very popular, but for me, I'm not able to get the hang of it. But that's because it's limited experience, and of course, you have to pay for it, which I don't want to pay for many of these things. Both of those programs, along with Autodesk's Maya and Sony Vegas, are popular in Hollywood. Yeah, I can see why. Almost everything you see on TV, YouTube, and in movies is made with these programs. Go figure. Any program with Adobe is very complicated. I agree with you. They are complex. Same thing with, I know this is 3D animation software, but Blender. At least that's my opinion. I know people are going to say, oh, it's simple. You just have to have a lot of patience and stuff. But me personally, I can't get the hang of it. Blender for me, I tried to do a sample once. Maybe I should do it on a desktop instead of a laptop, but yeah, not my thing. I took those classes over 10 years and I'm rusty when it comes to After Effects. I use Premiere to edit my podcasts. For me, I use Shotcut mostly because it's free, but also because it's much easier to use. That's just me though. I have Blender on my computer, but I haven't used it. It does look very complex, just like some of its paid counterparts. Well, what I don't like about it is that uh, some of these perspectives you have to use a lot of hotkeys and stuff, and if you don't get it right, you can screw the whole thing up. Maybe that's why calculus comes in handy. This is my first time hearing about Shotcut. I think it exports videos perfectly fine. I'd say I used to use VideoPad a long time ago, VideoPad editor. I don't tell anybody, but I had a special hack that guaranteed that I could use it free. It didn't involve installing software, but it did involve having to use um, savviness in terms of keys. A lot of these commercial programs have free counterparts. For example, GIMP is the free Photoshop, and Inkscape is the free Adobe Illustrator. And credit to those animators who use those types of software. I can never wrap my head around this. In fact, whenever I do have to make my own 3D software or 3D animations by myself, I use this program right here, Aurora 3D Animation Maker. It's very crummy and cheap, and it's not very technologically advanced, which in some ways it's good, but if you want to do more than uh, it's kind of it's got its limitations. Some of the stuff doesn't render properly, so I have to be careful with how I manage it. I have to be very savvy in things. But it's free, or, well, it's not free actually, but I do have a thing that allows me to use it for free without the word mark. Don't worry, it doesn't involve a patch or anything, it just involves being skilled with your keys. You know. Let's see what else I have here. That we can X that off. We've got a bunch of overlay stuff as well. I'm just going to export these things real quickly. I never heard of Aurora before. It's not the best software in terms of aesthetics. Like you can use it and you could probably make something that looks pretty decent for what it is, but it's not necessarily the most exquisite software, but it's simple to use, which is why I like it a lot. And yes, But if you don't know how to use it without paying, then you do have to purchase a key. Man, that movie is louder than I thought. That movie, my dad's watching. He's watching a movie in Spanish. Um, I can hear it all the way from here. Anyways, I have a OneDrive full of design resources myself, backgrounds, textures, icons, illustrations, etc. It's packed. This nearly a decade of me hoarding design sources. Oh, speaking of OneDrive, I have shared a OneDrive with Adam about all these things that I make, all these animations. For example, you have this 2D, 3D. I made this with Aurora. Some of these flags are incomplete, but still. And these are the backgrounds that I have. And then some of these things that I use. Let's have a preview of them. This is in case we were to collab, which it hasn't come to fruition, but if we did collab, well, we did collab on my channel. I'm talking about on the Team SOS channel. And we have this one right here. And I also have this whenever I stream the NFL. If I have a lineup, it consists of these things. Partially based off of CBS's graphics. Those look really nice. Oh yeah, I love it. So that's just one part. And some scorebug files. For example, when there's a flag or when there's a timeout. These are some large bars I use for displaying information on OBS whenever I stream. And here's some of the logos that I have. For example, some of these NFL. What I did is I beveled these on Pixlr. I used the bevel tool. Then I added a little bit of a glow around that logo to make it really pop out. Also made some 3D versions from the Aurora days, and these are what they look like. They look more plasticky, to be honest, but they're all right. And these are our logos. I got merch designs here, some old files here, and some, if we were to make some TV shows or even, what do you call it? Movies. This is what also would appear. They look so professional. I was about to say, it reminded me of the CBS graphics package. I actually love CBS's graphics, and that font really inspired me to do something. Uh, to be honest, though, what really kickstarted this whole graphics package was that leak from Super Bowl 58. Um, it was a supposed leak of a score bug. Uh, Super Bowl LVII score bug leak. This is what it was supposed to look like right here. Right there. This one. I still remember all of your Super Bowl graphics. Yeah, you still remember that? Yeah, that's where it all started. I decided to make that score bug as a joke and to make it as identical to that one as that. Of course, that ended up being a fake leak. It wasn't actually a leak, it was just a fan made concept. So eventually that evolved into something completely new. And I had to make some modifications for, you know, time constraints and resources. And because uh, if I had, if I added colors to both sides of the scoreboard, I'd have to add them on some sort of software first. And I have to do that for every individual game. So I just decided to leave it black on both sides. You went all in when you made those. Yeah. At first, it started as a let's do something simple first. But then it transformed into, you know what? It's going to look even better if you do all these things. And yes, it's lots of stuff to fathom, but in the end, it's a very nice result. All that I have to do really is upgrade my computer to a desktop. Also, I need to get a new mic. Like, this one is fine, but I don't know. It, I think I could do better. Then I started to use graphics from Video Bolt, and I fell in love with one of these templates named Golden Stream template or whatever it's called. Here's an example of that right here. Can't see it very well, but let me pull that out and this is what it looks like. But the original template had a different font, and this was black and orange gold. The mic you use now is the one I used when I started podcasting. Oh, oh, really? Is that so? Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I feel like this mic's okay, but I could definitely do something better. Or maybe OBS just didn't render it properly or something. Something has to happen. I just feel that I could take it a step further. The one thing to remember when it comes to using fonts for broadcasting applications is that the sans serif fonts are the way to go. Serif fonts are better for print. Radio. Let's see an example of sans serif. Yeah, that's sans serif. This the serif font would be well. This is one of the images that where is it? See how it's got this the not just when it comes to broadcasting, but any on-screen application in general. Sans serif fonts are better. I avoid serif fonts when building website, for example. Yeah, for more animated stuff, interactive stuff, you avoid the serif. Serif fonts have a taper or attractive stroke added to the letter artfully, and sans serif, on the other hand, don't have such strokes. No strokes and tails. They look clean and simple. Ah, so that's what it is. Serif. It's the little doohickeys. Okay. Serif fonts are used for newspapers, books, legal documents, and essays. Yeah, and for example, my essays in Victoria College and in high school, we used to do essays and they required us to type it in Times New Roman, which, in my opinion at least, I'm not sure if anybody else agrees, but in my opinion, is definitely by far a serif font. So yeah, definitely high memories of that. I have 94,248 fonts in my font library, believe it or not. I use a cloud program called Extensis Connect, which allows you to save fonts in the cloud and use on other computers. This is me collecting fonts since I was a student of AIH back in 2012. Yeah, that's a lot of fonts. That's probably even more than what Windows has in their computer, in their entire operating system. High five to you. And when I was in high school and college, they always told us that it had to be Times New Roman, right? 5 pages. Okay, that depends on how long they want the essay to be. Double space. Yep, for sure. Double space for me was a requirement as well. As for 5 pages, it was normally what they would told what they would tell us. 5 pages. Yes, I do agree. 12 or 14 points in an MLA format. How do I still remember this? It's been ingrained in our minds, that's why. I have used Extensis Connect because installing that many fonts onto Windows will crash your system. Yep, unless you have one of those uh 2,000, $3,000 PCs or a Mac or something. A PC or a Mac or whatever that can handle that. That would be like 900 terabytes. I'm just joking. I don't really know, but I imagine it would be a lot of space. Just give me one moment. Okay. So, anyways, Extensis Connect allows you to keep your fonts stored and you can turn them on or off as needed. Man, bravo to those who are able to use to maintain the cloud storage. I don't know how they do it. Like it's a bunch of hard drives or something inside their servers and they store lots of data. And not just like a couple of terabytes. They have like 1 billion terabytes and so many more that it basically exceeds the entire Greek prefixes thingies. So it's a cloud-based system, so most likely they are using endless servers for all of their customers. Sheesh. I'm not sure how they. Exensys Connect costs a little over 100 a year, so it's a good price for what it's worth. I think so too. And I think and what would happen if at one point they suddenly run out of these servers and stuff? It'll be the end of the world or something. No, well, not really, but it'll definitely be a pretty miserable time. I'm going to create a new intro using this. I'm just turn the volume down a bit so it doesn't get too loud. By the way, you just got a sneak peek on my new intro, believe it or not. They would just build more servers, I guess. LOL. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How the heck do they maintain these endless servers? Do they just build more? Eventually, they might use the whole resources for those servers. A lot of the resources, like the textures and graphics I mentioned earlier, have came from graphic design books, endless websites, and such, all from years of hoarding resources. Same for the fonts. I know ABC Video in 1986 used a technique for their logo called bump mapping. Yes, your intro is fire. It's even orange, so yeah. You have put a lot of heart and soul into it. Sometimes I say to myself, with all the graphic stuff you're doing, you might not want to be an engineer, but rather graphics designer or animator or something. But really, I just want to make these graphics for YouTube and not to be a professional, uh, you know, guy who just makes graphics. Like, it would be fine, but that's not, you know, doing it at my pace is better than having to, rush it and eventually you'll fall behind and it won't look nearly as good. And Adam actually made part of the intro. He made this part by exporting something on Video Bolts. So I have to give him props for that. You can certainly have the potential to do this professionally. Even though I'm in the business, I still think you made what you made here exceeds my skill set. I was never great with animation. Me neither. Like I made some pretty decent stuff in Aurora 3D, but Video Bolt is you simply insert the logo. It's a template. You insert an image and it animates it the way you wanted. You could change the position on some glints, for example, which are those shiny little dots of light, if it has it. Or you could change the color or the text or whatever it allows you to. But most of these are templates. So so yeah. I have to detach audio. Actually, I'm gonna save this and go back here. Animation and illustration are not my strong suits. Web design, print design, and still digital graphics are what I specialize in. And I'm glad to say you're dominating, at least with what your area offers in terms of customers. And I'm glad to say that you're doing well. And keep up the great work. And hopefully, people will see what your strong suit's all about. And I was trying to make sure that I didn't screw up this. I don't think I did, so I'm gonna come back. So this is what it's going to look like. This is what Adam made, the neon thing. And then I'm going to add one last touch there, and I'll, you know, call it a day on that on Shotcut and export that. Thanks. Yes, I've been in the business since 2017. This is a cinematic style intro. To say I love it would be an understatement. Bravo, bravo. Thank you. Thank you for that. Like I said, I'm not the most proficient in terms of animations either, but where I do like to excel is combining these things and making it into something tangible for the soul. You know, right. I have to make sure that when this exports, that it exports in 60 frames per second. save that. And I'm going to exit that and re-export because I don't want this transition thing to look blurry. I want it to look at least 93% quality. Let me read the comments. A lot of the pre-made elements you got were most likely made in Adobe After Effects. Oh, really? Uh, these came from Video Vault. And again, these are templates that you can use. Anybody is welcome to use it, but you do have to pay a subscription fee depending on uh, the fee is dependent on whether it's a monthly fee or a yearly fee. It depends on if you pay yearly or monthly. Monthly for 1 month is more expensive than yearly. That's what I will say. But other than that, you're more than welcome uh, to export all of what you need once you get the subscription. That template with the sun, I've seen a similar one used on JB TV's videos. He's a scam baiter. The people who made them with video bolts most likely made them in After Effects and then uploaded them for public use. In fact, I'm going to link you to one of these. Actually, I'll give you a taste of Video Bolt and go here and then copy the link. This is the website. Okay, I want to make sure it links me to. Hold on. Don't click on that link. Don't click on it. Let me delete that. This is it. The other one links to a different company's website. Yes. I want to make sure that they're the best so that I'm able to get the best quality out of it. So this is what it's going to look like if it's in 60 frames per second. Hopefully it is. You can see the orange highlights or gold highlights, whatever you'd like to refer to them as. And then the shimmering glitter that goes on it. And it turns into 2D. And that's the thing that Adam had exported for me. And it's been included since the modern era of streaming. And this is my new addition right here. That transition. I've changed it over the years and that's what it's going to look like. And it's time to export it one last time. And hopefully this will be the last time that I export it. I noticed when you lower the frame rate, the shadows around the countdown numbers looked more oblong. Oh, uh, let's see. Oh, this countdown right here. Uh, basically, they just blur out as they reveal themselves. Did find a small glitch. That I have to fix. So unfortunately, I have to export this again. My OCD is pretty high here, so I hope you could excuse me for just a moment. I can relate. Yes, right there. Oh, sorry. The shadows looked more sharper with corners than round. I can relate. That's how I've been with the novel. Every time I reread it, I spot something that needs to be connected or corrected or changed. Say that right. Yeah. Um, it's these little things that drive me nuts as well. So I definitely do want to get these corrected so that I won't have to worry about them. And certainly, oh, I think this one was a little bit stuck. Oh, I wanted to look as smooth as possible. Oh yeah, that has a lot of shadows in it. It sorts the shadow, and lots of mayhem ensues. Let's see how it looks for when it transitions from 10 to 9. I want to do something. want to do a small experiment. Crop. Um, I want to make it look smoother. Yeah, that's not gonna work. It looks even worse that way. Just put it back the way it was then. Now it's still not good enough. Okay, I think that's enough for that. And we'll put all this and send this back. And we'll line it up here and match it up here all in one line. Nope, I screwed up slightly. Okay. Curious, I have to put something here so it doesn't snap the wrong way. That looks a lot better. It can be a bit hard to blend two things together that both have opaque elements on them, the shadows. Yeah, that's yeah, see how it's glowing? Uh that's what it make that's yeah, like you said, that's what makes it a little bit hard to integrate. And gee, what else? The bad thing is that if I wanted, if I could do it, I could. Problem is that it only has 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It only has 8 seconds in its original countdown, and not 10 seconds. It only allows you 8 numbers to type in before it transitions into the logo. Okay, now I want to. Now my OCD has kicked in further. Okay, good. That's as far as we're gonna get. I'm gonna stop it there and stop it and remove that. And we're gonna try this again one last time. Yes, I know, saving. Now shut up. Slam it. Uh, cram it, clowny. Or whatever was said. Watching you edit takes me back to my college days taking those classes I mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's why I say to people, if you're in some sort of school, cherish those moments because after you graduate, you're not going to have those moments back. Rather, you're going to be missing out on those moments and you're going to wish you had them back. So that school is where you make your most memories, whether it be on the sidelines or in the stands watching the football, or whether it be in some sort of band concert or a contest of sorts, whatever, or even at lunch, like in your case with Christy. After I graduated, I had zero happy moments. It was pure misery until I started CDG and got into business for myself. See, feel bad for you having to endure all of these unhappy work experiences, and unfortunately, that might be what's up next for me. I don't know for certain, but work can be a kick in the butt sometimes, and there's no way to escape it. So definitely do come prepared for whatever comes your horizon. All right. Now I have to change one last thing. Or maybe not. Hold on. I think we're good. I think we're good. The thing gave me a little bit of a secondary OCD, but I think we're good. That doesn't have to be your future. It depends on where you end up working after you leave college. You could end up working for a great boss or a boss like the ones I've worked for briefly. For me, I just like to go with the flow. Wherever I end up, I'll serve them. If things go bad, then we'll find a solution to that. It's all where destiny leaves me. So yeah. One thing I'll say right now is that sometimes when I'm talking in front of a camera, I say stuff and then my mind is like, "Oh no, you talk like you don't know what you're talking about. You talk so choppy. Your speech is so choppy, not smooth as it should be." And to be honest, that's how I've assessed myself. I'm not very smooth. Sometimes I pause, sometimes I make mistakes and I have to correct myself. Sometimes I mutter and lisp. And I kind of wish I could uh, change that. And hopefully I can change that one of those days. All right, how much are 47%? This is what it is, 47%. Will it let us listen to it. It's screwed up because it hogs up some memory, but you get the point. And for whenever I cover Cowboys uh, games, I have a light theme and a dark theme. And the light theme is white with blue, and the dark theme is black and blue. The reason I adopted both is because it's hard to see blue letters in a black background, but at the same time, when it's white and it's night, it's white can be such a very stinging color, and you could hurt your eyes, and so I decided to go with the dark to allow that to allow eyes to rest. I deal with that regularly myself. When I edit my podcast, I always have to remove all the times where I stutter or make long pauses. Yeah, for me, um, if I talk like that, it is what it is. I'll let them I'll let them see it and I'll let them deal with it as they please. And if they uh if they like to you know if they have a similar situation, then hopefully it helps them. You know, it is what it is. That's the best way to do it. The dark theme is good for helping your eyes. Yeah, it is. That's why I have in my Cowboys graphics folder light and dark. And whenever it's let's say it's any time between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. That would be the light theme that I would utilize. And from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that would be the dark theme. I figured since, it's night and you don't want too much light, I guess black is a lot better for your eyes. And I I would assume that it's better to see blue letters on a black background at night rather than that day. That's when you need the white. Because my normal theme is uh, black background with orange or gold letters, depending on how you look at it. And that works day and night because it's black, so it doesn't necessarily give you that strain. Uh, and the orange letters are easily visible and accessible, so it works. Now, when working with blue, that's where you have to use white and black sparingly. Blue letters with black background works good as long as the shade of blue the letters are in contrast. Contrast well with the black. Otherwise, they can be hard to read. Yeah, we're gonna test the dark theme. The dark. version, the dark overlay, the dark whatever. And I'm going to see because I have it at a shade of royal blue, which I think it's going to be hard to see, but we're going to test it one day. And y'all can let me know when that day comes. Even if it's at night, let me know if I should add a little bit of color to that so I can change it. But that's for whenever the Cowboys play. So, yeah. All right. While this thing finishes, yeah, while this thing finishes, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Enjoy the progress bar. Say hi to the progress bar for me. Uh, okay, how far are we? Yeah, 95%. And 39 seconds remaining until we know the moment of truth. Make that 96 with 31. 97 with 23. 98 with 15. And 99 with 7. And bingo! We finished. You might not be able to tell from here because I have it set at 30 frames per second for the stream. But I'm going to do the eye test and see if it's 60 frames per second here. I tried to do 60 frames per second streams here, but my thing kept overloading and it was not the best experience. Happy to report that it did work. Bingo. I don't know what font they used for that retro sequence, but it looks pretty elegant. Cue Freebird. Man, you can get copyrighted for singing a song for some reason. Even if it's just the melody, you can get copyrighted. That to me is one of the dumbest things. You can't even use like a cover of a thing um to avoid copyright. Can you show me the retro segments, please? Yes, it's here. I just get it here. This one, right there. Mm. I don't know. It looks like a spin-off of Ariel or Helvetica. It's yeah. Here's a look at it. Looks like a mix between TNT North Pro and the other one. I forgot what it was. Arial. That font looks like Montserrat. I use it for CDG's branding. I've used it on the website, business cards, everything. Montserrat is a Google font. I've heard of that before. I think that I used it once, but I didn't know that that's what it was. So thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And I will now work on the credits. Um, where is the credits? Kim Jong Un. I think it's this one. Well, let's go here. Let's go here instead. Intro and outro right there. Nope, not the one. It's supposed to be in orange and gold uh colored letters. Um, okay. Oh, there it is. So last nine, nope. Animation, intro and outro this way. That's right. I'm going to make a small change to this. I'm going to transplant this here. No, that's too big. 1,000, 600. That's good enough. 250. Oh man, don't fly out of my sight, man. And so I'll transplant this right here. Well, this one I'm going to write copy left SOS Communications Incorporated. All rights unrestricted. It's like a little Easter egg, if that makes any sense. For the credits, I think the heading should be bold, but the list underneath should be in a thinner font weight. Okay. Hmm. Let's see if this works. The thing is, it doesn't let you change it or change part of it. It has to change the entire thing. So let's try it one more time. I've got producer highlighted. And see when I change it to regular, it changes the entire thing. So for me, this looks more slick, at least in my opinion. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. Now, quickly, before I export this, I'm going to check. I'm going to check out the SOS Reddit. I think this is the one. 45. Okay, so this one is going to be 45 then. In case of this software, you're having to split the text into two separate INs to edit one part. Yeah, I don't know about that. Um, will it let me underline this though? Use font size. Oh wow, it doesn't even underline it. Strange. Strikeout? I guess because it doesn't have it. Oh well. 450. I know it's a small, but shouldn't the copy left sentence start with the copyright symbol? One of these. Uh, I'm gonna attempt to find a copy left symbol. One of these things. And see if it can translate it here. Oh, it works! Well, there you go. It actually worked. Is that the only copy left symbol? Yeah, I guess so. Oh well. As long as it works, it works. And I'm going to set this at 55. Oh, wait. Should I include. LOL, the copy left symbol is a real thing? I've been in the graphic design field for over a decade working with typography and never knew this. You learn something new every day. I didn't even know how to type it in either. I tried to look for it and I couldn't find it at all. But hall- hallelujah, I've been able to find it tonight. Copyright Reddit. I'm gonna look for references. Capital Records. It just has the symbol. I think we're almost good to go. Yeah, you could lower it a little bit. 415. When you tilt your head, it looks uh, like it's more towards the top. Uh, just gonna try to eyeball it. 435. Let's see. Does this work? I think that's good enough. I think that will do it. And finally, I have to replace this one with my new thing right here. Then I have to merge this here. This is a blank black. That looks centered just fine. For music, the copyright symbol is the P inside of a circle, also the same care symbol used for drying, cleaning on clothing labels. That's right. That is right. And finally, the stream offline. Let's see if we can find WBAP. What? We can't find WBAP? Strange. Try looking in audio. Um, Recycle bin. WBAP. Okay, let's go to stream offline. Hmm. Weird. I guess it's not there. Let's go here then. Oh, I'll just re-download it. Not sure what the P stands for in either case. Key music symbol. I guess it means protected. Right. Phonogram. Phonogram. And clothes washing. The P stands for this perchloroethylene. That thing. Perchloroethylene. That's certainly a mouthful. Amber. Right, I'm going to add this here. Let's see here if we can. So, get ready for these credits. This might be a little out towards the end. The clothing pair symbols are some of the weirdest glyphs ever made. Like, who decided one day a triangle represented bleach or a circle represented dry cleaning? Oh, and in chemistry, you have different symbols for chemical hazards. Like a fish would be environmental hazard, or fish in a tree would be environmental hazard. And what else? Uh, an exclamation mark would be health hazard. all of them mean different things, and there's so many of them that it's hard to, you know, pinpoint them all. Just look at them. That is the credits. 93%, if you're doing a quality base VBR export with whatever codec, just keep this in mind. 93% is your sweet spot. Anything above that will cause the export to fail. So do beware of that. I'm gonna go back to my intro and make one for, whenever it's just videos. And just put all of this here. Oh, who cares? I'm missing some files. I just want to export it. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. And I know you said to all to make the make some of the font a little bit thinner, but I actually like it like this, in my opinion. Like, and one thing I will say is that if you decide to add text on top of text, you might not get it aligned the way you wanted it aligned. So, well, you could, but um, it's just much easier. Another key to great editing is to have a killer graphics card. Gaming cards are the best for video editing, photography, and graphic design. Oh, you betcha. This is why mine could never make it. No, I do not want to save it actually. I just want to go to this one. No, I'm not saving that. So I set this at 55, 435, 270. 55, 435, and 270. Nobody cares. Four thirty-five, 270. 55 now. 55. And let me change this into that symbol. That looks perfect right there. Perfectly fine. We go back to that then. Yes, you're right. Text still looks great regardless. Thank you. I have a GeForce RTX card. Would you say that's a top tier card in your opinion? faithfully played. My goodness. Uh-oh. I think I You're running low on available memory. Please close other applications or web browser tabs and retry or save and restart shortcuts. Resume. It's at 64 and counting. That's another thing. It always stops in certain intervals. If I have, let's say, Google Chrome up and running, but it's fine. I don't really mind it. Hmm. All right, 76%. Yes, it's a top tier card. There are newer ones, but for now, but for graphic designs uh, purposes, it's great. I'm using a ViewSonic Color Pro monitor that is specifically made for graphic design use, and it is connected to the PC via a premium monster HDMI cable. Yeah, I've seen some monitors from ViewSonic in Texas A&M University of Kingsville in their library. So, honestly, to me, the the logo they use doesn't look that glamorous, but maybe it's worth looking for. Google Chrome is a memory hog of a browser. I know, but it's the browser that everyone uses, and I can't even lie to you. It's very dear to my heart, and for that reason, I can't just let it go. Or maybe I could. I just am too lazy to do that. And finally, for whenever I have some videos, standalone videos I upload on my own, this is what I'll use. I'll edit the outro a little bit and add this up there. And open other color. And yes, black. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Get back. Get back where you belong. I like that song. I Okay. So we're still dealing with the same frame rate and stuff. Oh, wrong thing. No. No, 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 no. Thank you. This one. Video credits. I'm sorry. Uh, ViewSonic is to monitors as what Bose is to speakers. Even ViewSonic's low-end cheap monitors have really good resolution. Man, maybe I should just go to ViewSonic and see if I could find a decent display uh, for whatever money I use, of course. I'll see what happens. I really want to invest in a gaming PC though, but those are very expensive. Um, So I want to get that first because I really want to take advantage of these graphics that I use. I'm using Google Chrome right now. I just wish it wasn't a memory hog. I use Firefox when I need to use a different browser. Yeah, Firefox is an alternative, but uh, uh, Microsoft Edge. I know uh, a long time ago there was Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer was like very nostalgic memories now. I won't use any other brand of monitors. ViewSonic goes all in when it comes to color resolution. I'm currently using a gaming PC right now because I need it for business. Yeah, the boy. Somebody who uses a gaming PC right there. Let's go. Um, and I think I would get some um, myself. I would get one myself as well. So, yeah. Now, in terms of when that time will come, I don't know. Everyone in the designer rejoiced when Microsoft killed Internet Explorer. It was never built up to the standards modern websites had, and it always rendered them badly. Everyone in the web design world. Yeah, I used a little bit of everything. Back in 2011, 2012, when I got my first ever taste of internet, I really enjoyed using both browsers. And back then, I didn't get connected to the internet as often as I do now. So I really love downloading stuff, Safari as well, which is an Apple browser. They also made stuff for Windows, mhm, Firefox, and Chrome. It took Microsoft forever to retire Internet Explorer, just like Adobe took a friggin' lifetime to get rid of Flash. Yep, Flash is dead, and now it's HTML5, and it's trying to shine. So, yeah, definitely not the most well received. There was Netscape, which is the spiritual predecessor to Firefox, as they both used the Mozilla Gecko browsing engine. Netscape was retired in 2008 by AOL. I remember AOL. Um, there was an app on an old phone we had back then that had AOL. Microsoft Edge is a Chromium-based browser. Oh, for real? I didn't know that. Yeah, I could see it being based off Chromium. AOL is owned by Oath, which also owns Yahoo. Oath is owned by Apollo Global Management. Okay. Yahoo. Um, I'm sorry, but I'm not into their new logo. It just seems like they just typed in some text and called it a day. And not particularly flashy text either. Where at least the last logo they had before it had some personality. This one looks like it's devoid of any emotion and not, uh, it doesn't convey that fun factor, if that makes any sense. At least Google, it works well with what they are able to achieve. And at least they have color. Yahoo's just completely purple. AOL's logo is rather boring as well. Yeah, I agree. Um, what else? Yahoo logo is like the shoebox style, like fast food restaurant buildings these days. Boring gray boxes with no character. That's right.
¿Estás grabando, mijo?
Sí.
Y se nos uno las datos de estar grabando a las 2 de la mañana.
Oh,
César,
¿qué?
¿a qué horas es mañana esa cosa?
No sé.
No, mejor ni vayas, hijo.
Oh my goodness, my mother just came in. I might get scolded. It's all right though. It's having you in here is definitely worth it. Um, Yahoo. Let's compare Yahoo's old logo. Well, logos. Oh, what? How do I make this bigger? Ah, they used to be red. Okay, I didn't know that. This one's childhood memories. This one is not nearly as good, but still passable. And there's some more right there. Well, I think we're done on shortcut. Shortcut can let you export what you want as long as it's within the specifications of the PC. Adobe's periodic table icons for their programs is quite boring too. These icons were introduced in 2007 when they relaunched Creative Suite. The icons from CS2 on back were better and more whimsical. Let's look at that then. Creative Suite logo history. Oh yeah, it does look like a periodic table. Huh. Well, I couldn't find the exact ones for Creative Suite, but this is Adobe. They've been around since 1982. Oh my goodness. I didn't know they've been around for that long. Red Yahoo logo invokes childhood memories for me. Adobe CS3 introduced their current style of icons. Let's see if I can find Creative Suite. Suite 2. I guess it's just the box. Doesn't look too bad, actually. I love the leaf. For example, if you look at the logo history from Photoshop and Illustrator, you will see what I mean about the older icons. Okay, some of these look like the album cover for Foreigner's Inside Information. If you look for the Say You Will single cover and I Don't Want to Live Without You covers,
¿Qué me reconoce?
they both have eyes in them. See,
Es un mismo que te grabando aquí ahora.
Inside Information. You'll see what I'm talking about. Well, that's the cover right there. Oh, that's what it looks like. And here's Say You Will. I don't want to live without you. That's, that's the way it looks like right here. And there's also another cover that's right there. 4 discs. It looks pretty similar, but slightly different. You're right, it does look like the Foreigner album cover. Yeah. The only time I've ever heard I Don't Want to Live Without You in the public was um I was putting gas in my mother's truck, I think. And it was at Speedy Stop on the Houston Highway or Rio Grande on the intersection between that and Ben Jordan. I heard I want to know what love is today on the spot. Yeah. You know what? I think it may have played on Kite. It played on Jack FM today for sure, but it might have played on Kite as well. I couldn't scan it with Shazam because the freaking uh, truck by itself it switched to auxiliary inputs and it got stuck there. So I couldn't scan it when I was away. Oh, you can download some of these things. Uh, new subscriber. This is for a channel named The Bottom Line View. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go to bed now. All right. Well, then, thank you, Christian, and everybody else for taking your time for listening to the Holy Bible and some extra activity after that. Adam, Willie Snyder, Cameron, of course, Christian, as always, thank you. You're what makes these streams enjoyable. Paul and Hamish 2075, and that's it. Addie and Wade and MJ, or MG, excuse me. But I must say, I am beyond impressed with all your work. A lot of heart and soul has been put into your intros and outros. Oh, and that's just the beginning. We're gonna have more intros and outros for for not Jack FM, for Team SOS, for the parent company. Well, it's a parent company, but uh, it hasn't been established in terms of off paperwork, but one day we'll establish it. SOS Communications Incorporated is the umbrella that owns my channel, Team SOS, and a bunch of other channels. I had a great time hanging out with you tonight and watching you edit. My pleasure. You know, ever since we finished up those Jack FM playlists, um, I have to find at least some other fun activity to do, you know? And before we go, as always, I have to pray. Well, not as always, but from now on. Heavenly Father, we thank you before you uh, for letting us read the whole book of 1 Kings. Through this book, we are witnesses to the kingdom that David had already put in the previous book. And we witness the wickedness of the kings and the leaders of Israel. We know to never forsake you and to never abandon you. And although that might still happen with us, we always want to turn back to you because you never turned your back on us, Lord. Rather, you have gone with us, you have helped us, and you've corrected our wrongs. So we thank you for that. And as we celebrate the Passion of the Christ going on these next 2 days, let us absorb of your energy, your grace, your passion, your faith, and your peace, and your love, and all that you are, Lord, because you are truly one. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sleep myself too. You sleep deep, rise and shine bright, Christian, and go in peace and seek the love of the Lord. And I'll try to find a time to stream tomorrow because I'm also going to be involved in the church and the church's activities. All right.